Today in Review This Thing, we're going to show you the best 9mm handgun. This is Adrian with Review This Thing. Before we jump into the best 9mm, if you want more content from us, take a second and follow us on Instagram and check out our website, www.reviewthisthingtv.com. All right, let's go. A few months ago, I decided I wanted to find a new 9mm handgun that I was going to really love to shoot and be able to carry. I did some research, looked up several different handguns, and then I got the best idea. We decided it would be a fantastic idea for us to do a test and tell you which handgun would be the best, especially for the female shooter, because after all, I am a female shooter. Now wait, before you stop watching and leave comments about the best 9mm, there's one thing you need to know. It totally depends. The best 9mm, or really any handgun for any shooter, depends on a lot of factors. What do you want it for? Are you wanting to carry it concealed? Is it more for home defense? Or are you just looking for something fun to shoot at the range? So for our test, we wanted to get a variety of sizes just to see what people thought. We have tactical all the way down to compact and subcompact. I'll tell you more about the design of the test in a minute, but the thing that you need to hear if you hear nothing else is that the best 9mm handgun is the one that's best for you. You can't just rely on what somebody else says. So your cousin, your boyfriend, your husband, the person you follow on Instagram says it's the best one out there. That does not mean that that's how you're going to feel about that exact same gun. So if you're like me and you're looking for a new handgun for you, then the best thing to do is go and try a whole bunch of them out. A lot of indoor ranges have the ability to rent different guns. So go, take your time, shoot a whole lot, and see what you think about them. Because what matters is how does it fit you, and then go practice a lot. You want to make sure that you are confident, comfortable, and safe with whichever gun you choose. Now, I do want to warn you, in January, we are going to bombard you with complete reviews of each of these handguns. But for now, we just want to give you a general outlook on these guns and how different women felt about them. Now that we've covered all that, let's get to the testing. So first, I want to tell you the design of the test. We used 9 different 9mm semi-automatic handguns, and as I mentioned, they vary in size. In order from lowest price to highest price, the SCCY DVG-1, the Taurus GX4, the Taurus G3C TORO, the Ruger Security, the Tisas PX9 Tactical, the Glock 43X, the Smith & Wesson M&P 9 Plus, the SIG P365XL, and the Glock 19. We chose these guns based on a few factors. One was definitely research about which ones were very popular, which ones most people seem to like. We also chose based on availability. Some of these are ours already, some we were able to borrow from friends, and some we were able to take on loan from the manufacturers for the test. So special thanks to SCCY, Tisas, Glock, Taurus, and Lipsies for letting us borrow these guns. And I definitely want to give a special thank you to Ammunition Depot, who provided us with all of this 9mm PMC ammunition for our testing. We used 8 different female shooters from varying levels of experience. A couple of my friends had never even shot a handgun before, so we actually took them out to Lewis Creek Shooting School. Check those out if you're in the High Point region of North Carolina, and learned how to shoot before we put them in the test. Other people who were fairly new, and then other people who would be considered fairly proficient. We designed a rating scale from 1 to 5 on 10 different categories. We then compiled all that information to get an idea of the best 9mm handgun. So in case you haven't figured it out, we had an absolute blast doing this test. Shooting is fun in general, but whenever you get to get friends involved and teach new shooters how to shoot, it was even more fun than I expected. I do want to show you how our shooters ranked each of these guns in these categories for grip size. And now this could have been lower scores where the grip was too big or too small. Now you can see the Ruger Security, the SIG, and the Taurus GX4 got the highest rankings. Now as far as grip comfort, there were different comments.
So I like the ones that have like the little bitty grip things, but I am not the biggest fan of the ones that have like the sandpaperish feel grips.
It seems to fit perfectly in my hand.
Kind of scratchy.
But there you can see the top 3 in our grip comfort level. Next is how easy was it to reach the trigger. And again, these are ladies, so some of them had smaller hands, bigger hands, but you can see where they ranked that there. And then we have the feel of the trigger. Was it easy to pull, hard to pull, smooth? Just overall, how did they feel like the trigger felt?
When I relaxed, it was easy, so I'd get out of 5 as well.
I didn't so much like the trigger. It's kind of hard to pull.
Then we added in there, how hard was it to pull the slide? Next, how easy was it to aim? There are different sights on each of these guns. Some have dots, some have colored dots, some have lines.
The sight, I really like that a lot too because it has a little green dot there, which I feel like helped me a little bit.
Then I asked him to rate the recoil. How much recoil did they feel? How comfortable or uncomfortable was that? And then we asked about accuracy. And this wasn't necessarily how accurate were they really, but how accurate did they feel with it? Then overall, how did they feel shooting it? So that's all of those factors we just listed. I think the coolest part of this test was just seeing how differently people felt about each gun. There may be a feature that somebody really liked about one gun.
I like that you have to pull it further before it shoots.
And then another person didn't like that gun for that exact same reason.
I didn't like the trigger because I felt like you had to pull it all the way back before you felt any kind of pressure there.
As far as grip size and comfort, one person might say that they really liked the SIG P365 XL because the grip was small and they had smaller hands, but then they turn right around and say that they liked the Tisas because the grip was big enough and felt comfortable holding. And you can see here those two guns have very different grips. Even more, the same shooter may say she really liked the Tisas and the Ruger Security.
I'm a big fan of this gun. I think it fits me perfectly.
But then turn around and say that they disliked the Glock 19.
It's an okay gun for me. It's automatically a little bit too big for my little hands.
One really interesting thing we found was that most everybody picked up the Tisas and wasn't sure they were going to like it because it was one of the bigger, heavier guns. But then after they shot it, most everybody completely changed their mind.
When you first see this gun, it might be a little overwhelming. However, I did like this gun. I shot very well and accurate.
Out of 8 shooters, 7 of them put the Tisas PX9 in their top 3. And everybody but 2 did the same thing for the Ruger Security. But now this also goes back to what I was saying about the purpose of your gun. The Tisas was by far one of the favorites, but it's kind of a bigger gun and wouldn't necessarily be one that you would feel comfortable carrying in a small purse or in or outside your waist belt. But if you're looking for a gun to take to the range to just practice shooting that is super comfortable, then this may be one that you want to look at. Now, something I found a little strange was that the Glock 19 is absolutely one of the most popular guns on the market, but that was not the case in our test. It was actually in the bottom 3 in 6 of 8 of our shooters. I can't really pinpoint what it was. Either way, it was an interesting find. Another one that showed up very frequently in the top 3 was the SIG P365 XL. So you may see that and think, oh, I need to hurry and go get one of those. But keep in mind, it was in the bottom 3 for 3 of our shooters. If you pull out the overall score that we took, I think that's a pretty good representative of how most people felt about these guns. But let me remind you again, the SCCY and the Glock 19, even though they were overall in the bottom 3, ranked in somebody's top 3. And even though the Tisas, the Ruger, and the Smith & Wesson were the top 3 rated guns, each of them ranked in somebody's bottom 3. So in case somehow you missed it, let me reiterate. The best 9mm handgun is best 9mm handgun for you. And the only way to know that is for you to go shoot them yourself. So I hope this video helped you out and kind of gave you an idea of where to start. As I mentioned, January is 9mm handgun month, and we're going to do a complete review of every one of these handguns. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you want to make sure you don't miss it. And again, I just want to say a huge thank you to Lewis Creek Shooting School, Ammunition Depot, Tisas, SCCY, Taurus, Glock, and Lipsies for making it really easy for us to do this test. And of course to all of our shooters for being awesome and willing to participate and making this a whole lot of fun. And as always, we appreciate you for watching. Hey, thanks so much for watching our best 9mm video. While you're here, watch a whole bunch of our other videos. If you like them, give us that thumbs up. If you really like them, subscribe if you haven't. Share them with your friends, and also take a second and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and www.reviewthisthingtv.com.